Getting a perfect teeny tiny rolled hem on a sewing machine can be very fiddly and very frustrating, so you may want to consider sewing a rolled hem by hand. This method is perfect for slippery silks and chiffons and is commonly used to finish the edges of silk scarves. To begin, thread your needle. Remember to cut your thread after you have threaded the needle, and make sure the thread is no longer than the distance from your wrist to your elbow. I am using this light cotton lawn for my sample, and I am working along the top edge. Working from right to left, I begin rolling the hem between my fingers so that I get a single fold as narrow as possible. I crease it in place with my fingers and fasten on my thread. This is the only type of hem where I start my thread in the main body of the garment and not the folded fabric of the hem, as I find it produces a neater, less bulky hem. As usual, I work 3 back stitches on top of each other, securing my thread without a knot. I'm just trimming down the tail end of my thread so that it doesn't get in the way. The action of working this stitch will complete the second hem fold as we go, creating a narrow double fold like this. To achieve this, we make our first stitch through the very edge of the hem fold from front to back and pull the thread loosely through. We then bring the needle back to the side of the fabric facing us, passing the thread over the folded edge. We take our next very small stitch horizontally from the fabric of the garment. At this point, you don't want to pull your thread too tight. You want to be able to see the zigzag of the stitches as we work them. Repeat these steps again. Push the needle through the hem fold from front to back. Bring the needle and thread back to the front of the fabric and take a small horizontal stitch from the garment and pull the thread loosely through. Continue to roll the edge of the hem with your thumb as you move along the hem. Push the needle through the edge of the hem from front to back. Bring the needle back to the front and take a small horizontal stitch from the fabric of the garment. At this point, your stitches should look like this, 3 small zigzags. You can see how the thread is worked over the very edge of the fold with each stitch. And now the magic moment happens. We pull our thread tight and the hem folds over on itself, creating a very neat, narrow rolled hem. I crease the hem in place with my thumbnail to create a crisp edge. We then carry on with our stitches in the same way, pushing the needle through the single fold of the part of the hem we haven't stitched yet, bringing the needle over and forward to take a horizontal stitch from the garment and pulling the thread loosely through. Continue working the stitches in this way. Roll the edge of the fabric over with your thumb as you get to it and try to keep the horizontal stitches the same distance away from the raw edge as the width of the fold. I suggest working the stitches in batches of approximately 3 to 5 before pulling the thread tight to create the rolled hem. You don't want to work too many stitches before pulling the thread, as this may result in uneven tension across the hem. You can see that from the right side, all we can see are the tiny horizontal stitches. Repeat these steps over and over again until you reach the end of your hem. Roll the edge over with your thumb. Push the needle through the fold from front to back. Bring the needle over and forward to take a small horizontal stitch from the garment and pull the thread loosely through to create a small zigzag. Keep repeating this process until several stitches have been worked, and then pull the thread tight to roll the hem neatly over, creasing it in place with your thumb. Keep working in this way, rolling and stitching and pulling the thread tight until you reach the end of your hem. And now I finish off my thread in the same way I started, by working 3 back stitches on top of each other. Again, this time I'm not working them in the hem fold, as it is so narrow and delicate I don't want to add any more bulk. And there we have our finished hem. I really love the way this hem looks, as it's so delicate and neat. It gives a really couture finish to sheer fabrics, and in my opinion is so much neater than the equivalent hem sewn by machine. If you're interested in other types of hem, there should be some cards on the screen now to take you to some of my other tutorials. Thanks for watching, see you next time!